Whether you're a financial advisor or a business owner of any sort, you're going to have clients that will be a pain in the ass. How do you deal with difficult clients? Time to think like an investor. If any of you out there are freelancers or have your own clients, or maybe you're a financial advisor like myself, you will notice the funniest of things. It's that the clients that are the smallest and drive the least amount of revenue take up the most amount of time and are the biggest pain in the ass for some reason. I don't know why it is that the big, great clients that get you so much revenue and they grow your business and they're great for referrals, those are the ones that never bother you. But I gotta tell you this story about a client I had. For now, we'll call him Bill. And Bill was in a position where he was maybe one of the smallest clients we'd ever had. He started investing with us with about $1,000. And by the way, if you invest $1,000 with me and my company, that means revenue we are going to make $10 per year, okay? And what that means is $1, actually less than $1 per month. And I would always wake up to emails, I'd wake up to text messages, how are my investments doing? What do you think about this in the market? What do you think about this stock? Should I be looking at this type of plan? All of these sorts of things just constantly barraging me with questions over and over again. And I thought to myself exactly what I just thought with you guys. How is it that the clients who are generating maybe 100 times the revenue, maybe 1,000 times the revenue of this client, are actually way less of a pain? And so over time, I started to realize that maybe the best thing for my business wasn't to just get every single client I could potentially get, but over time, start thinking about what is the ideal client? What is the client that I actually want to have? It's one thing when you have a small client who's on your case because you know that if things don't pan out, it's not gonna have a massive effect on you. But there was another time, and there's been actually several points over the course of my career, but one that sticks out to me is I had a couple clients who were nearing retirement around that age, and they had a pretty substantial sum invested. And when we walked through the investment options at the outset of the relationship, I talked about how, okay, we're gonna be using a certain investment strategy called value investing. And what that means is in really, really good times, it's gonna lag behind the market. And in really, really terrible times, it's gonna hold up like a rock. And what we had over the course of a very long time was momentum and growth stocks doing very, very well, which meant this value strategy that I had with my clients wasn't doing as well as maybe a growth investment strategy. So over time, I had to continue to reassure the clients, you know what, this is the right portfolio, it's the right thing for our goals, it's gonna meet your objectives for retirement. I know we're lagging, but that's what the strategy is designed to do. That's what we put in place from the start, and we all agreed upon that. And over time, it just kept taking a little more and a little more and a little more negotiation to get them to stay put. And then the time came where eventually they decided to throw in the towel. They said, this has been a total waste of time. This isn't what we wanted. We were hoping to get more growth out of our money. The market is doing this. You're lagging behind that. To which I thought, that's what we said from the outset. That was the whole goal. And then what they decided to do is I failed. As an advisor, I failed to convince them to stay put in their strategy. And they took their money out and went into a different strategy. So guess what happens within the next 60 days? That strategy rallied 30%, and that client may have lost out on over 100,000 or more in gains they could have had if I had done my job of helping them stay put. That one hit me pretty hard, because it's like, had I done the right thing or communicated the right way in that instance, I could have saved someone 6 figures in wealth. Like, that's one of those things that hits you. Listen, guys, the bedrock of capitalism and the businesses that it creates are win-wins. It's to establish win-wins. That's what business is all about. That's why we shake hands. It's a symbol. It's a symbol that we're both agreeing to something that's gonna make us both better. And if you find yourself in a situation where you've entered into an agreement with a client and all of a sudden it's lopsided, one side is getting more value than the other. This can happen in one way on the supplier side. If the price is too high and the client's not getting any value, now it's lopsided towards the producer. But if you find a client that's way too needy and isn't making any money, now it's a lopsided deal the other way. And what you need to understand is that in business, lopsided deals are fragile. Altogether, if the deal is lopsided and one's receiving more value than the other, it's just a matter of time before that relationship altogether falls apart. Because in business, we're measuring the scoreboard. In a relationship, you get married to someone, there is no scoreboard. That's what it's about. It's a contractual obligation to do the best thing for the other person regardless of the scoreboard. Business is different. You need to make sure that you're differentiating and understanding if there's a lopsided deal, I need to make sure that it's addressed faster so it doesn't prolong into infinity where both of us are unhappy. Now I know what you're saying, Josh, it's not that simple. It's just not that simple. I can't just tell clients to go away. I can't fire them. My business will fall apart. And you know what? You're absolutely right. I think that's one of the reasons why starting a business is so hard in the first place. It's because you don't have the tenure and you don't even have the financial ability at the outset to say no to people. That's why starting a business is tough, because in addition to trying to pay the bills, you're having to take on anyone and any client you can get to establish yourself, to build that word of mouth. And a lot of those clients aren't going to be ideal. You're not going to love working with a lot of them, but that's part of that grind of getting to those first 4 or 5 years so that you can eventually have the privilege and earn the right to fire clients. And not fire clients, but to tell them that, hey, this relationship is now lopsided and we have to either readdress the way this is being priced or worked out, or we're going to have to just go separate ways. The lesson here in my eyes is that this just took me way too long to understand and to implement. You need to get to the point in your business where at the outset of a relationship and the very first call, the very first engagement with a new client, the very first interaction, you're trying to determine, is there a win-win on the table here? You need to determine from the outset, is this a client that I want for financial reasons? Or is this a client that's actually a win-win because we have the right match of my solution and their need and a price point that meets in the middle, and we can actually create a win-win? If you feel at the outset, there's this somewhat semi-doubt that you're going to have friction in the future of a relationship with a client that you're starting to work with, that is the perfect point to either offload that to somebody else, refer it elsewhere, because at the end of the day, the highest wealth is peace of mind. I work with wealthy people all the time. It's not like more money would make them happier. More peace of mind would make them happier. So the idea that you're going to trade away your peace of mind, you're going to start to hate your job and hate your clients because you're trading away your peace of mind just to get money in return, that's a terrible trade. It's not something that you want to be in the business of doing. And I'm not sure who quoted this. Maybe it was my favorite author ever, Naval Ravikant. It's very possible. But it was something along the lines of, you know you have financial freedom when the money that you turn down is more satisfying than the money that you accept. And ultimately, at the end of the day, what that means is you've gotten to the point where more money isn't worth that peace of mind. It's not worth that additional peace in your headspace. So anyways, guys, that's my thoughts on dealing with difficult clients. Whether you're in business or you're a financial advisor, whatever it is that you do, you're gonna run across those clients that just aren't ideal. And it's very important to understand that in business, you're trying to create win-wins. And if something isn't a win-win, it's time to either delegate, refer it out, or try to identify where that issue is at the onset of the relationship so that you don't have to do either of those things. So anyways, guys, that's been my experience dealing with clients that are difficult. I hope maybe you learned something from it. If you like videos like this discussing being a financial advisor or running your business, make sure to hit that subscribe button below, hit like to support this video, and turn on post notifications for more videos just like this one every single week. Until next time.